media. I'm on my way down south. I've been at battlefields all day, but before I left, I had to stop by here, the Confederate Cemetery at Brown Park. The state in the south has its sacred plot, and many are in the unknown section, but all are alike and tenderly cared for. More than 3,000 soldiers from every Confederate state and other sympathetic volunteers are buried in this cemetery. Alabama heroes, 269 unknown people, unknown soldiers right here, guys. Can you believe that? 269 just right here. A drummer. Bill Yopp was born on one of the largest plantations in Lawrence County, Georgia. The plantation was owned by Jeremiah Yopp. Bill was the personal servant of Thomas, his son, and Bill Yopp was the childhood friend and servant who followed him into battle. William H. 10-Cent Yopp enlisted as a colored drummer on the 9th of July in 1861 in Company H of the 14th Georgia Infantry. He was paroled on the 9th of April 1865 at Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. After the war, now a free man, he returned to the Yopp plantation in Georgia and worked there until 1870. He secured a job as a bellboy at the Brown House in Macon, and from there he went to New York, California, Europe, and worked as a porter on the private car of the president of the Delaware and the Hudson Railway. In his later years, he returned to Georgia to find his former master, Captain T.M. Yopp. Ready to be enrolled in the Confederate Soldiers' Home in Atlanta, Bill was a frequent visitor to the home, not only to see his former master, but also the other Confederate veterans as well. At Christmas, with the help of the Macon Telegraph, he raised enough money to give each resident in the home $3. He would set out every Christmas to collect donations to help these old soldiers. In 1920, Bill wrote a book called Bill Yopp, 10-Cent Bill. This book was about his exploits before, during, and after the war, and it sold for about 15 cents a copy, or $1.50 for a dozen. The proceeds were shared by Bill and the Confederate Soldiers' Home, and the men of the Soldiers' Home gave Bill a medal for his kindness. The men were so grateful to Soldier Yopp that the Board of Trustees voted to allow Bill to stay at the home as long as he lived. He was one of the last remaining veterans in the home when it closed its doors in the 1940s. Now we're losing the light of day here, so I have to go a little faster than I would like. Here's Florida, 19 unknown dead right here. $78 unknown dead. 78 men here who had brothers, sisters, moms, dads, family, friends. Just look at it. To our Cobb County soldiers who so nobly illustrated Georgia, on many a hard-won field, and those who died for a sacred cause, to those who lived to win a noble victory in time of peace. This cannon served at the Georgia Military Institute from 1852 to 1864. The Confederate Army was captured on Sherman's March to the Sea, 1864 to 1865. It was held as a trophy of the war until 1910, when it was returned by the United States government to the Confederate Cemetery at Marietta, Georgia. So this was a cannon that was actually used. $113. 3,000 Confederate dead from every southern state are buried in this cemetery. First established for Confederate soldiers killed in a railroad collision in 1863, became the resting place for the dead from nearby battlefields. In 1866, under the direction of Miss Mary J. Green and Miss Charles J. Williams of the Georgia Memorial Association, bodies were moved here from the Chickamauga area. Land for the cemetery was given by Miss Jane Glover, Ann Moyer, and other citizens of Marietta. A cannon, which served from 1852 to 1864, was used by the Confederate Army, captured by Sherman's forces and held by a trophy of the war until 1910. Alright, well, seems like there's a lot of history to explore here. I wish I had another hour of daylight. The slave lot. The only burial ground in any major white Georgia cemetery. Here are 19 Christian slaves and freed persons from Marietta Christians were buried in unmarked graves 1848 to 1866. Only 4 have been positively named. That's really sad too. S.V. Sanford. Know about him? I'll have to look him up later. Yeah, it just keeps going. All these unknowns. Captain S.D. Richardson, killed on Kennesaw Mountain. Why is this guy all by himself? This is John P. Payne, killed Marietta, Georgia. There's probably a cool story why he's all by himself right there. Hospital section. So these are all guys that died in the hospital. They were sick, they had disease, where they were wounded and died. John A. Kilgore. Joseph Ashton. Mounted infantry, wounded at Chickamauga and died in hospital. W.H. Miller, M.D., died September 9th, 1863. Maybe one of the doctors that worked on these guys. John Davis, another doctor. Died November 9th, 1863. R.L. Southern, or B.J. Southern. William Pearson. Put here in 2014. Virginia, 15. Georgia, 116. George W. Mann. Killed at New Hope Church. I was just there. 24 years old. In memory of him. That means he's not here. That means they don't know where he is. I think we're out of light. I'm thinking you guys can't see this. Joseph Walker, Mississippi, 129. Unbelievable. Hey guys, I hate to rush out of here and rush through, but as you can see, we are out of daylight. Thanks for watching.